All right, welcome back. This is going to be part 114 of my presentation on the flood in Noah's Ark. And in this one here, we're going to continue and conclude with the topic of Bigfoot. Bigfoot. And I am going to introduce you to an individual that has done some amazing research and that you can learn more. I'm going to give you some links that you could watch some great videos. And I think you're going to get probably the closest to what this topic is about. And so, again, guys, do I have all the answers when it comes to this? Absolutely not. I really don't. Bigfoot has been one of those things I've been kind of on the fence with. I'm open-minded. I'm open-minded to listen to the evidence. I don't ever want to be closed-minded when it comes to that, because you're shutting yourself up to some amazing discoveries that could be in our world. And so, but again, you have to filter it through the Bible. You got to filter it through the Bible, guys. If it contradicts this, then you got to hold on to this. You got to hold on to this. Period. If you start deviating from this, guys, you're going to get yourself in trouble. You're going to get yourself in trouble. And so you must filter it through a biblical worldview. And that's what I've tried to do and given an answer here. And I really believe that you pastors and teachers out there, when you got somebody that comes up to you, I don't care how ridiculous the question may be. Personally, me, I don't think any question is ridiculous. I really don't. If someone comes up to me with a sincere question and they really want an answer, I never want to laugh and kid around about an answer to somebody, because that's a very impressionable person. And what we say and do could be a stumbling block to that individual. And the Lord don't take that lightly. And so anybody that comes up to me with a legit question, not a debate, not an argument, with a legit question, I will give them the best answer that I can. And if I don't know, that individual and me are going to find out together, if we can. I mean, there's lots of gray areas in Scripture. And a lot of times I just say I don't know. And so it's just, I'm not trying to blow the individual off. I'm just saying, you just don't know. And I'll give them the reasons why I don't know. And so, but if you notice on the screen here, this is David Paulides. David Paulides. He has a BS, MS degrees in University of San Francisco. He was 20 years in law enforcement. He is retired now. He was 10 years as a MUFON investigator. Now, that's Mutual UFO Network that was founded in 1969. He was somebody that went out and took reports and stuff like that. No matter what the reports were, he would just gather the information. He studied hominology full-time for 8 years. Now, what that is, it's a term used as the name of the pursuit and study by researchers who claim the existence of hominoid beings, which generally are North America Sasquatch or Bigfoot. Nepal, Himalayas, it's called the Yeti. Russia, it's called Snowman. Australia, they have a version called the Yowie. In China, it's called the Yiran. Now, there was an individual that told me that the Yeti is something different, and so than a Bigfoot. And so I don't know, the information that I got did put the Yeti and all these others under the same category. And so I'm just giving you the information that what I've gleaned. And so, at any rate, at this time, I don't know if David's written any more books, but he has written 6 books that deal with missing persons. That's what he's known for. Is if you was to go on YouTube and look up David Paulides, you're going to get missing persons. He's really known for that. He just gets all these missing person cases and he just writes them. Sometimes he'll put them in clusters and stuff like that. And he's gotten a lot of heat for how he interprets some of the missing persons, what could be going on. And there's a lot of people that give him a hard time about that. And so, but I'm not going into the missing person stuff. But if you really want some really wild, spooky stuff to listen to his missing person stuff. It's just absolutely weird. But at any rate, he has studied the Bigfoot phenomena extensively by the request of a couple of wealthy business owners who funded the project. And so, again, if you want to go online, go to www.Canam Missing Project. Now, the Canam is Canada and America. That CAN and AM, and Canam is Canada and America. Canada and America Missing Project. But at any rate, this here is the website you can go to. So Canada American. Anyway, the Canam Missing Group is a group of retired police officers, search and rescue experts, SAR, and other professionals that are dedicated to researching, on-scene investigating, and generally understanding the issues associated with people who go missing in the wilds of North America. This has typically been a project that is intensively worked by search and rescue teams, starting when the victims is reported lost and usually continuing for the following 7 to 14 days. The case then flounders in a file cabinet after years of reading thousands of SAR reports, speaking with dozens of victims. We believe the paradigm of this effort needs change. Law enforcement and the media usually do not publicize concerns of kidnapping or abduction when the missing can be explained through traditional means. There are too many of these cases to ignore, and there is a consistency to the stories. And so now he wrote these books here, and Western United States and Canada, Eastern United States, and A Sobering Coincidence, and Missing 411 Hunters, The Devil's in the Detail, North America and Beyond, and the Hoopa Project, when Bigfoot encounters in California, and Tribal Bigfoot. These are two other books. And he's got some movies, guys. I know I think a couple of them are on Tubi, which is a free platform. You don't even have to sign in to watch the thing. But he's got some videos on there that are free to watch. And he may have some online as far as on YouTube. But he also wrote this book right here. Well, he didn't. It's not really a written book. What he did is it's called Bigfoot, Wild Men and Giants. Bigfoot, Wild Men and Giants. It's archived articles from 1680. That's right, 1680 to 1923. This is the second edition. I'm not sure if he's got another edition or not. But guys, as you can see, it's just article after article after article. And these are the articles. He just scanned them and put them in. From what I understand, he got up with a gentleman. I'm not sure if the gentleman is dead, if he died, but he got up with him, and that guy gave him everything he had on the topic. I think the guy was I'm talking intense researcher of Bigfoot. And so he saw David as being somebody that took it seriously, and he gave him everything he had. So David took all the articles and put them in this book. I think he's got them in a CD also. He put them in a CD format. So if you wanted to get a CD and actually put it on a computer, he's got that. I'd like to actually have that. Guys, these are some amazing articles, and these are the exact articles. He scanned them and put them in there. It's just, again, article after article after article. And it spans all the way, looking at this page here, articles by date. And it starts off September 17th, 1680. And so, for what it's worth, guys, it would be I went through some of these, and he did a good job with this. He did a good job with that. And so go online. What you want to do is you want to get up with that website, and you want to order through him. Don't get it through Amazon and eBay and stuff. Guys, they take things like this and they overprice them. And so you'll probably only pay, now this book here I got from this museum. if you're ever in the Georgia region, let's see, this is off Blue Ridge. See, south. Let's see, it's Blue Ridge, Georgia. Blue Ridge, Georgia. It's called the Expedition Bigfoot, the Sasquatch Museum, and so that's this right here, and that right there. Just remember that. Expedition Bigfoot. Expedition Bigfoot. If you're in anywhere near Georgia and you want to go see a cool museum, this is it. My wife and I went and saw this. And matter of fact, we have another YouTube channel. It's an RV channel. What I'll do is I'll put in the description a link to that video when we went and saw that. They let us take a camera and video inside of it. And so I'll put that in the link below, and you guys can check that out. But they have a cast of one of the man and dinosaur tracks inside of this place here, and I was very impressed with that. And so it was a track that I had not seen before, and so but they had a cast of it, and from the Paluxy River, Glen Rose, Texas. And so, but going back to the information here, if you go to YouTube. Canam Missing Project. Canam Missing Project. That's what you're going to want to look at. And he has go to his playlist. And the one that you're going to want to look for is Bigfoot. Look for Bigfoot. It's Bigfoot 101. Bigfoot 101. It says there that he could have 21 videos. I believe that's, he's got a bunch of them. He's got a ton of videos where he starts with Bigfoot, and one by one, guys, he gives you the best detailed history of Bigfoot that I have ever seen. And he goes through the entire research that they did about Bigfoot. If you want to know about the topic of Bigfoot, go to this person. And so now, he doesn't state that he's giving you a biblical worldview or anything like that, but I want you to go to it. I want you to go to it, and you are going to learn probably the best truthful information about Bigfoot you will ever learn. And so, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it before the video's over with, about what they found out. He did a MUFON LA presentation a number of years ago, and he stated about Bigfoot that all the tribes David spoke to about Bigfoot, or the Oma, they call it the Oma, believe that they are not animals, but are another tribe. And when spoken to in the Native American language, the language is understood by the Oma. Drawings done by forensic artist Harvey Pratt appeared to have a human Native American appearance. Bay Area Bigfoot group Archie Buckley, foot specialist, studied dozens of Bigfoot casts, prints, and concluded that they were absolutely human, and that every characteristic is human. So I think you guys can know where I'm going with this. Now, talking about the DNA testing, mitochondrial DNA comes from the mother and was able to be tested by hair samples. Nuclear DNA can be found in the nucleus of the cell, and that is what they were after. It shows genetic material from both father and mother. So if you look at that diagram right there, you see the mitochondria that I got pointed to. That's what it looks like under a microscope. And then you got that DNA there that is blown up. And then you got what they were wanting, though, was the DNA in the cell, in the nucleus of the cell. That's what they were after. They wanted that, because then it would show both genetics from the father and the mother. That's what they were after. This is what they got. DNA 15 and hair samples 30. That's the samples that they got. Some with follicles were collected. All of the 15 DNA samples came back as human-based. I did say that right. Human-based, not apes. 3 others, tissue, blood, and hair, were tested by nuclear testing. All of these 3 came from different locations in the United States. 9 scientists and 4 PhDs got together and authored a paper. They used 3 independent labs and did not do the testing themselves. The labs were not told the background of the samples, due to some labs refusing to test it when they were told what the samples were believed to be. The tests were done by a DNA robotic machine that decontaminates the samples. It's the most accurate way of testing. So that's the background on this. The results. This is results. Hair samples came back as non-human, the hair samples. But the mitochondrial DNA came back as human, which was really weird. The hair itself came back as non-human, but the follicles where they got the DNA, the mitochondrial DNA samples from, came back as human. Came back as human. Over 95% of the DNA samples obtained came back as human. Origins of female DNA showed majority from Europe, Asia, and Africa. 12,000 to 15,000 years Middle East. A small portion showed origination from the area they were collected in North America. The male side, this was really bizarre, the male side could not be categorized. Unknown origin. 0% of the samples given came back as ape origin. Not one sample said that they came back as an ape origin. What was wild, guys, is that they had nothing in GenBank. They call it GenBank. They had nothing in GenBank that they could tie in with the male. They don't know where that part came from. That's what's really bizarre about this. Some of the biggest certified university labs in the southwestern United States, was testing these. These were blind tests. None of the labs were told what they were testing. The cost was about $500,000 at the time they had the test done. And this was amazing. The labs asked David and them, did you guys discover a new species of human? That's what they asked. That's what they were asked. Now, what happened was, I'm going to very briefly go into this because he goes into this much more detail in those videos. I'll give you a link. I'll give you a link to the very first video that he has in the Bigfoot 101, and you guys can kind of go from there. I'll also give you a link in the description below to his YouTube channel. But what they did is they finally came out and said, we believe these are Bigfoot DNA. Well, the labs got up with their attorneys, and a letter was given to them stating that if they ever went public with the information that they had, stating that that lab was the one that did the testing, they were going to sue them. Why? I don't know. It makes absolutely no sense. If I was a laboratory that had a part in possibly discovering something new, I'd want my lab to be a part of that. I don't know why. To this day, I just cannot understand why they're so against. Because even if it was false, faked up stuff, the labs can just say, hey, listen, this is what they gave us. We tested it, and we stand behind our test, and this is what that material came back as. Now, what I thought was interesting is that the origins says Europe, Asia, and Africa. Notice that Asia there. Now, if you really want something to really look at, they may have it. I'm going to search on YouTube. If they got this on YouTube, guys, I will put a link in the description below. It's called DNA versus the Book of Mormon. I have it on video. This right here, see, the Book of Mormons believe that the American Indians were one of the lost tribes of Israel. And so, not going in depth on any of this, I got into a huge debate with a Mormon that had came to hear me speak at one of the local churches, and I didn't know he was a Mormon. I didn't. It was just something I had brought up, and we talked about that. and then he stuck his hand up, and then from about an hour, that's all we did was debate, and he never came back to another class. And but at any rate, that's what they believe. So what they did is they did a DNA test on the Indians, the American Indians, and found out that they actually came from Asia. Their descendants actually came from Asia. They don't have any Jewish lineage whatsoever. And that has turned the Mormon belief upside down. And so I thought that was kind of wild, though, is that the DNA, the background of the Bigfoot, came back from Asia, because the American Indians think the Bigfoots are nothing more than just another Indian tribe. Well, it's interesting that when the DNA results came back from the Bigfoot samples, the origins showed one of the origins, they said, showed from Asia. And that's what the background of the American Indians were from, is Asia. That's where they're originally originated from, was from Asia. And so now, also, this is a really neat, I'm just going to throw this out. When David took a picture, he took the film. He went and got the actual film itself, and they did a freeze frame and did some cleaning up of the video and stuff. And if my memory serves me correctly, the person that did the editing or the cleaning up said, you know what? It looks like this Bigfoot here has a ponytail. And what you see right there in the top right-hand corner is that outline of that ponytail. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you that's the ponytail. And it looks like, they said, it looked like it's tied about 3/4 of the way up on the head. It looks like there's a bump on the back of a ponytail coming down the back of the head and around the back. And they said it looks like it's tied. So that's with the ponytail, and this is without me doing the outline. This is the ponytail outline with the band around it, and this is without. I can see it. I can see it. With the outline, without the outline. And when you go side by side, that can give you a little bit more perspective there. You got the head, and then you got that bump on the back, and he said it looks like a ponytail. And if that was a female, a human, just a human, just with a lot of hair on them, then that right there would match. That right would match with, the intelligence, where they would do something with their hair. I don't know, guys. I'm just giving you what they saw there. There's even a shadow of it. I don't know if it's just really thick in the back, and I don't know, guys. I'm just, like I said, I'm just giving you what I'm showing. But you can see the breast and the muscle, the way the muscles move in the walk is absolutely just amazing. And so, but for what it's worth, this is what I found. And we'll stop right there. And again, I'm going to have some links in the description below for you guys to check out. Check it out, guys. Do I really understand everything that has to do with this? No. Am I completely 100% convinced that Bigfoot is a real deal? No, not really. I mean, not until they get a body or we have something else. But, so far with these researchers, at least in a biblical worldview, I could stand more behind this than somebody saying it's a missing link and it's half ape, half human. Maybe because they haven't been able to find any bodies and stuff is because maybe they buried their people. I really don't know, guys. You would think with the technology that we have today, somebody would be able to find out what they got here. I've been told in some conspiracy circles that the government is fully aware of their existence. I don't know. There is some folks that try to tie in Bigfoot with UFO activity? Again, I don't know. I'm not really for sure what's going on with all that. And so David does have a slant with that in a way. Again, I don't know. I'm not really for sure on that. But I will say this. In a biblical worldview, they are not a missing link. There is no missing links. And so God created humans distinct from the animal kingdom. What this could or could not be, I will say this, guys, I really just don't know. I'm really not for sure. I'm just giving you what I've been able to find out. And believe me, I am really, I filter out my stuff because I don't want to mislead anybody. And so, but other than that, we'll just keep it with that. And so please check out everything. And so he's got a really cool YouTube channel and a website. And so, and he's anybody that may have some information that he can use. He's open. All you got to do is email him and give him whatever information that you got. He's willing to talk to you. And but he's really detailed when it comes to filtering his information out. And so, but other than that, that's what I have here. I think it's a really cool subject. But you guys take care. When we come back, we're going to continue on with the mountains. And we'll show you some really wild things about the mountains. But you guys take care. I love you. Hope the Lord bless you real good. Bye-bye.